got a message for Mr. Iger.
First, take a big step back and literally your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the United Nations and get a binding resolution to keep me from destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will you up!
Welcome back to another episode of the Pop Culture Caravan, where this week we're doing things a little differently. We're not reviewing a movie. This week it's just me and the lads. And this week we just kind of wanted to talk about the ongoing Hollywood strikes. The Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild are both on strike at the moment for the first time since 1960. Both are simultaneously on strike. This is crazy and could spell a lot of potential troubles for the future of Hollywood.
Yeah, we're already seeing a lot of that now with the quality of our movies.
Mm-hmm. This began back in May when the WGA failed to reach an agreement negotiation with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and TV Producers.
Could you quickly say what the WGA is, for those who don't know?
Right. So the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, it's a union for all the writers in Hollywood, has 20,000 members currently. Meanwhile, the AMPTP, the Alliance of Motion Pictures and TV Producers, they represent the studios and producers during discussions. On top of that, you got SAG joining in on the strike, SAG being the Screen Actors Guild.
There's a lot of groups a part of this.
Yeah. They have 160,000 union members.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
So what do they want, right? The WGA initially just wanted fair compensation. Obviously, with inflation and things going up, they feel their wages need to go up as well. Have a decent living income. There's a few other causes here we'll get into, but a lot of it does boil down to pay. So the strike began in May 2nd. That's when the WGA went on strike, and then SAG joined in on the strike on July 14th.
I know that negotiations were attempted for these two groups, or it looks like that hasn't gone through, and everyone's still trying to meet together, but there seems to be a lot of complications.
Yeah, but the people who actually are on strike aren't coming back to the table until they get what they want. And I don't know, it's kind of just this weird waiting game at the moment between the studios and the actors and writers.
In all likelihood, do you think that actors and writers are going to have to fold and kind of make compromises and accept what they're given first, or do you think that they're going to be able to hold out until these elites are losing enough money to where they say, okay, whatever, what do you want?
I don't imagine the writers and actors getting as much as they want, unfortunately. It's probably going to be slightly lowballed, but at this point there's other issues that have come up. A big one that's also part of this is residuals, right? So residual checks are checks you get after something you've worked on. Whenever it airs on TV, the actor gets a check, right? But streaming's different because the companies keep a lot of those numbers closer to the chest, right? In terms of how well something performs or doesn't perform, right?
Well, it also makes sense that they're hiding those numbers just because when you can rewatch it any single time, it's not like a cable company or DirecTV trying to buy the rights to that show to air it on a certain time slot, right? And you can just rewatch whenever you want. That could put a lot of money into an actor's or a writer's pocket. Mm-hmm. So that's just more expensive for them. So from a greedy bastard standpoint, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah. So the actors, they have, obviously a talent agency that manages them, right? Different agents or managers. They have lawyers. Essentially, those people get a commission of their checks, right? And then on top of that, there's union dues and, whatever other taxes. So after all of it's said and done, actors are probably walking away with 35% of their paycheck already gone, give or take.
And then even more than that too, this shows that this strike does affect a lot more people than just the actors and writers.
And this is also post-COVID, right? They're already wanting to recoup finances. Disney CEO Bob Iger told CNBC that the striking actors and writers' demands are, quote, just not realistic. They're adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing, that is quite frankly very disruptive. So that's Iger's stance on it, but keep in mind, this guy's, stands to make upwards of 25 to 28 million this year alone.
Yeah, and the words alone kind of tell the whole story. He said, it's quite disruptive. Okay, well, these people are not eating dinner tonight. So, like, they're out of work. They're probably struggling to figure out how they're going to pay rent.
Yeah, especially when most of these writers, they make upwards of like $26,000 a year. Mm-hmm. It's nothing.
Let me read you some more quotes. The studio executive told Deadline, quote, "The end game is to allow this thing to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. One insider even called it a, quote, cruel but necessary evil."
Dang. War of attrition, dude.
I'm sorry, but that is such a flex.
As messed up as it is, these studios can wait it out. They've already stretched out their timeline of releases, so they're already willing to, wait on these movies. But then on top of that, you got the advancement of AI. So with AI, artists are obviously worried about AI, like, taking their jobs, replacing them. Because why pay a writer to write a script when you can just plug something into ChatGPT or whatever, have a decent story to start, and then you just hire someone to basically do punch-ups?
Yeah, no, you really can't do that. I've messed with ChatGPT, even for stuff like writing. And so I've seen some tweets from some producers saying, it's just unrealistic for us to pay these actors when we can simply just hire somebody to handle the AI.
Actors are now getting worried because, AI's gotten to the point you can start to get replications of people. There was a rumor going around for a bit, right, about this thing the American Motion Pictures were trying to sneak into their contracts, kind of a clause which would allow them to basically own an actor's likeness forever and indefinitely, and all that actor gets is a day's worth of pay. And that's not even thinking about, like, okay, now that they own your scan, let's just, make little edits and change your appearance slightly so it's not necessarily you anymore. So, I don't know, where do we see this going right now? How do we see this playing out at the moment?
So I can only see the strike lasting if they really push for maybe a couple years, if that.
I don't see it going on years per se, but months for sure. For context, the 2007 writer's strike that went down, that was like between November 2007 to February 2008. So that's about 3 or 4 months, but it's still long enough time to drastically affect things.
If actors are on strike and writers are on strike and they're not able to make more movies to fill their pockets, they can always just start laying more people off, right? It's the executives that are going to be protected until the end.
They could also just keep hiring new people fresh out of college or whatever course they need to take. They got no money, they need a job.
I wasn't expecting $16 an hour, but shit, at least I'm putting my degree to use, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, this is a very critical time, I think, in Hollywood, right? Because a lot is on the line here. And it's going to affect a lot of not only how content is made, but how we consume it, as well as, the people who make the content, how much they get paid. We're not involved in this situation. We're just 3 idiots on the internet kind of just shooting the shit and talking about it, right? But it's an important issue that we wanted to bring to light and talk about. It's also going to affect, what we review in the future because, what's going to come out,
We're going to do TV, games, and OnlyFans, as we always intended.
Hey, you guys want to see my toes, huh?
Want to see these piggies.
Whatever it takes.
Stop it. Get some help.
Thanks for joining us on the Pop Culture Caravan. Please let us know what you think about this strike. Give us your theories, give your predictions, and let us know what you want us to cover in the future.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time.
The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. Some of it is financial, some of it is karma, and some of it is just figuring out who the said that. And we know who said that. And where he lives. There's a lot of ways to lose your house. You wish that on people. You wish that families starve while you're making $27 million a year for creating nothing. Be careful, motherfucker. Be really careful. Because that's the kind of shit that stirs shit up.